Ladies and gentlemen, you know, too many of us get caught up in our heads. We sit there, we think, we plan, we calculate, we analyze, but we never make a move. We get paralyzed by that voice in our head that says, "What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't make it?" Let me tell you something. Failure is part of the journey, it's part of the process, and if you're not willing to fail, you're not going to win. Listen, life's about doing, not just thinking. I don't care how big your dreams are, how great your ideas are, how many plans you've made. If you don't get out there and do something, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't matter how much you think about it. Nothing, zero, zilch. You want to know the difference between the successful and the unsuccessful. It's simple. The successful don't just think, they act. They take risks, they put in the work, they step into the unknown. They don't wait for the perfect moment, because let me tell you something. The perfect moment doesn't exist. If you're waiting for the right time, you're gonna be waiting forever. You see, we all have these dreams, dreams of success, dreams of happiness, dreams of fulfillment. But let me ask you, how many of you have those dreams but don't know where to start? How many of you are sitting there telling yourself, "I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes"? You're wrong. You're lying to yourself. You have everything you need right inside you to start. You just have to stop overthinking and start doing. This is what I'm telling you. Take the first step. It doesn't matter how small it is, but you need to start, because I'll tell you right now, action beats intention every single time. A dream with no action is just a wish, and wishes, they don't pay the bills, they don't put food on the table, they don't change the world. Action does. Look, I get it. It's hard to start. It's scary. But let me ask you this. What's scarier, taking a step and failing, or staying stuck in the same place year after year, thinking about what could have been? Fear is real, but it's also a liar. Fear is that voice that's trying to keep you small, trying to keep you comfortable, because comfort's easy. But you're not here to be comfortable. You're here to make an impact. You're here to do something that matters. You've got to step into the discomfort. You've got to be willing to feel the fear, the doubt, the uncertainty, and do it anyway. Because that's where growth happens. You want to be better. You want to be more. Then stop waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect plan, the perfect moment. There is no perfect. There's just you, right here, right now, with the power to take action. And let me tell you, nobody's gonna hand you success. Nobody's gonna show up and give you everything you want. You gotta go out there and take it, and if you fail, so what? Get back up and try again. The only way you truly fail is if you quit, and I know you're not a quitter. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from starting. Don't let the fear of not knowing how hold you back. Every single successful person, every single person who has ever made a real impact in this world, started exactly where you are right now, with nothing but a desire, a dream, and the courage to take action. Now, let me tell you something else. It's not just about big actions. It's about consistency. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do need to be persistent. You don't have to be perfect, but you do need to show up. Every single day, no excuses, no complaining, no waiting for things to line up. Just show up. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you show up consistently, even when it's hard, even when it feels like nothing's working, that's when things start to change. That's when things start to move in your favor. Success doesn't come in a straight line, and it certainly doesn't come overnight. But you keep showing up, you keep doing the work, and eventually you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Now let me ask you this. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the perfect moment to start? Are you waiting for someone to give you permission? Are you waiting for the fear to go away? Newsflash, it's never gonna go away. But that's not the point. The point is, you keep moving forward regardless. You keep doing even when the fear is there. You keep fighting even when the doubt is there. Because if you're gonna be great, if you're gonna accomplish anything worth doing, you've got to stop thinking about it so much and start doing. The world doesn't care about your plans or your intentions. It cares about your actions. It cares about what you can show for all that thinking, all that dreaming. The real challenge is not thinking big, it's doing big. It's not about having the best idea. It's about executing that idea. You can dream all day long, but if you don't take action, those dreams are gonna stay exactly where they are. Just dreams. Let me tell you, success isn't for the faint of heart. It's not for the people who give up when things get tough. It's for the people who push through the obstacles, who refuse to let failure define them, who refuse to let fear stop them. Success is for the people who decide that no matter how hard it gets, they are going to keep going. But here's the thing, you can't do it alone. None of us can. You've got to surround yourself with the right people. You've got to find people who are going to challenge you, who are going to push you, who are going to remind you of your greatness when you forget it. You've got to find people who believe in you before you even believe in yourself. But even more than that, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe that you are worthy of success. You've got to believe that you have what it takes to make it. If you don't believe it, no one else is going to. And if you don't believe it, nothing is going to happen. You've got to start with yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. You believe in you. You trust in you. You take that first step, and then the next one, and then the next one. And keep going, keep grinding, keep pushing. Because this world is full of opportunities, full of people who have been where you are, who have done what you want to do. And they're not special. They're not different from you. They just took action when others didn't. So I'm telling you right now, stop thinking and start doing. Stop overanalyzing and start acting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment and take what's right in front of you. You've got everything you need. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Time's ticking. You're either moving forward or you're standing still, and standing still is the same as going backwards. Make the decision right now till you ever notice how we spend so much time thinking, planning, and preparing, and yet nothing ever seems to move. We sit there in our heads overthinking every little detail, trying to get everything perfect, trying to predict every outcome, trying to figure out every possible risk. And what happens? We get stuck. We're stuck in this loop of endless thinking, but we're never moving forward. And the longer we stay in that space, the further away our dreams get, the more time we waste. Here's the thing about thinking. It's easy. It's comfortable. When you're just thinking, you don't have to risk anything. You don't have to face the fear of failure. You don't have to get your hands dirty. But thinking without action, it's just that thought. It's nothing more than a mental exercise that leads to nowhere. You can have the best ideas in the world, the grandest vision, but unless you take action, all that energy is wasted. It becomes nothing but a daydream. I'm not saying that planning doesn't matter, or that thinking is useless. You need to have a vision. You need to know where you're headed. But the most important thing you can do is take that first step. Get up and do something. You have to move, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Start somewhere, because here's the truth: action makes all the difference. When you start moving, the path begins to reveal itself. Opportunities you never saw before start appearing. You learn from your mistakes. You adjust, adapt, and get better. But that only happens when you step out of the comfort of your thoughts and start walking. Let's be real here. How many times have you planned something and thought about it for days, weeks, months even, but never actually followed through? You talked yourself out of it, told yourself the timing wasn't right, told yourself you needed more preparation. I've been there too, and I can tell you one thing. Nothing happens by waiting. You can't wait for the perfect moment, because that moment will never come. It's a lie we tell ourselves, a trap we fall into. You'll always find an excuse to delay. Always find a reason to put things off, and before you know it, time has passed, and you're in the same place you started. But when you act, when you move even just a little bit forward, everything changes. You build momentum, you start to see results, and even when things don't go as planned, you learn. And the next time you try, you're better equipped. Action is where the growth happens. You can't grow if you're just sitting still. You can't get better if you're not trying. It's in the doing that we find the lessons, the answers, and the breakthroughs. The more you do, the more you learn, and the more you improve. Let's talk about this idea of perfection for a second. How many of you have waited for the perfect moment to start something? You wait for the conditions to be just right. The right time, the right resources, the right knowledge. And in the meantime, you do nothing. That's because we have this belief that we need everything to line up perfectly before we can begin. But here's the hard truth. Perfect doesn't exist. You're never going to have all the answers. You're never going to have everything you need. And the right time will always seem to be just out of reach. You have to stop waiting for perfect and just start. It doesn't matter if you have a small start. It doesn't matter if you're unsure of every step along the way. What matters is that you start, because starting is the key. The act of getting moving is the only thing that will move you forward. If you keep sitting on your ideas, if you keep thinking about all the possibilities but never take that leap, you'll always stay where you are. But when you take action, no matter how imperfect it might be, you give yourself the chance to move toward your goal. It's like setting a ship afloat. You can't steer it if it's anchored. You can't direct it if it's not moving. You've got to get the ship out of the harbor, and even though the waters might be rough, you can make adjustments as you go. But you can't adjust anything if you're not even moving. And don't get me wrong. There are going to be days when you don't feel like doing anything. There will be times when you'll face setbacks, doubts, and challenges that make you question why you even started. You'll face that inner voice that tries to tell you that you're not good enough, that you're wasting your time, that you should just give up. It's easy to let those moments of doubt stop you, to convince yourself that you're not ready, that you're not prepared. But let me tell you something, you'll never be ready. You'll never have all the pieces in place. You'll never have every answer you're looking for. But that's okay. You're still capable of taking action. You're still capable of moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. And here's the thing. When you start taking action, when you make that decision to stop thinking and start doing, something powerful happens. You build confidence. It's the doing that builds your belief in yourself. The more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you can handle challenges. And the more you prove that to yourself, the stronger your resolve becomes. It's a cycle of growth that only happens when you take that first step. The confidence doesn't come from thinking about how great you're going to be one day. It comes from knowing that you're doing everything in your power right now to move closer to your goal. Even when it's hard, even when it feels impossible, you're still doing. People who are successful, people who have achieved great things, they don't just think about it. They don't sit in the comfort of their own heads wondering what if. They take action, they step up and face the challenges head on, and guess what? They don't always get it right. They fail, they make mistakes, but they keep going, they learn, they adjust, and eventually they win. But none of that happens without action. You can't get results from sitting still, from waiting, from thinking. You only get results from moving, from doing, from putting yourself out there and trusting that the steps will become clear as you walk. If you're stuck in a cycle of thinking but not doing, I need you to hear this. The only way out is to act. The only way to break free from the paralysis of overthinking is to stop thinking and start moving. Get out of your head, get out of your comfort zone, and take that first step. Even if you don't know exactly what the next one will be, that's okay. Start. The clarity will come as you move forward. The pieces will start to fall into place as you keep going. But none of that will happen if you stay stuck in your thoughts, trapped in your head, waiting for the perfect moment that will never come. The time is now. The dream is now. The action is now. Don't wait for everything to be lined up. Take the first step. Do something today, right now, that will move you closer to your goal. It might not be perfect, but it will be progress. And progress is everything. It's the only way to turn your dreams into reality. The power isn't in thinking, it's in doing, so stop thinking, start doing, right now, because your future depends on it. Failure, that word, it stings, doesn't it? We've all been there, on the receiving end of failure, feeling like the whole world is crashing down around us. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, and it often feels like the end of the road. But here's the thing. Failure isn't the end. It's never the end. In fact, It's just the beginning. It's part of the process, part of the journey. And if you can learn to embrace it rather than fear it, you'll find that failure is the very thing that helps you grow, helps you get better, and helps you succeed. Most people don't talk about failure enough. People don't highlight the struggle, the setback, the times when you get knocked down and have to get back up. No, they focus on the success, the victory, the moment when everything comes together. But that's not the full picture. What they don't tell you is that behind every success, every victory, there's a trail of failures. There's a series of mistakes, wrong turns, and times when it seemed like things would never work out. The only difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is how they respond to failure. So why is failure so important? Why is it something you should embrace rather than run from? First of all, failure teaches you. It shows you where you went wrong, where you need to improve. Failure is a feedback loop. It's information. When you fail, you learn something about yourself, your process, and what doesn't work. It's like a lesson you can't get in a classroom, a lesson that only comes from experience. It's a reality check. If you never fail, you never learn. And if you never learn, you never grow. But here's the thing. The majority of people quit when they fail. They get knocked down once, twice, maybe 3 times, and then they throw in the towel. They say, "That's it, I can't do this, I'm not cut out for this." And that's where most dreams die. They die in that moment of failure when people give up instead of getting back up. But you can't let failure stop you. You've got to embrace it, welcome it, because with every failure you're one step closer to success. But embracing failure isn't just about accepting the possibility of failure, it's about making peace with it. It's about understanding that failure doesn't define you. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't mean you're incapable or unworthy. It just means you tried something and it didn't work. That's all it is. Failure is a result, not a reflection of your worth. If you want to succeed, if you want to achieve anything meaningful, you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and try things you've never tried before. You've got to be willing to risk looking foolish, to risk not getting it right the first time or even the second time. Because let me tell you something, the people who succeed are the ones who fail the most. They fail, but they keep going. They fail, but they don't let it stop them. They learn, they adjust, they keep pushing forward, and that brings me to discomfort. Failure is uncomfortable, right? It doesn't feel good. And that discomfort, that feeling of I'm not good enough, or I'm not where I want to be yet, is something that everyone faces at some point in their journey. But here's the thing about discomfort. It's necessary. If you want to grow, if you want to get better, if you want to succeed, you've got to be willing to be uncomfortable. Comfort is the enemy of progress. If you're always comfortable, if you're always in familiar territory, you're never going to grow. Discomfort pushes you, it challenges you, it forces you to become someone better, someone stronger, someone more resilient. You can't avoid discomfort and expect to achieve greatness. You've got to lean into it. You've got to accept that growth doesn't happen in easy times, and it doesn't happen when you're sitting on the sidelines. It happens when you're in the trenches, when you're fighting through the discomfort, when you're pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Think about it. The most successful people in the world, they've all gone through discomfort. They've all had to face failure, rejection, doubt, fear, but they didn't let it stop them. They didn't let discomfort define them. Instead, they used it as fuel. They used it as the thing that drove them to work harder, to push farther, to try again. They learned how to embrace the discomfort, how to find strength in it, how to make it work for them. Now, I know it's easier said than done. It's easy to talk about embracing failure and discomfort when you're not the one in the middle of it, when you're not the one feeling like everything's falling apart. But trust me when I tell you, those moments are the ones that shape you. They define your character. They build your resilience. They teach you things you can't learn any other way. You've got to stop running from discomfort. You've got to stop avoiding failure. Every time you do that, you're robbing yourself of the chance to grow, to improve, to become better. Every time you shy away from failure, you're telling yourself that you're not capable of handling what comes next. And that's not true. You are capable. You are strong enough. You have everything inside you to face failure, to face discomfort, and to keep moving forward. You just have to believe that. Here's the truth: the pain, the discomfort, the failure, it doesn't last forever. It's temporary, but the lessons, the growth, the strength you gain from pushing through it, that stays with you for a lifetime. And one day, when you look back on it, you'll realize that those moments, the hard ones, the painful ones, were the things that made you who you are. They were the things that prepared you for the success that's coming your way. But you can't get there without facing the discomfort first. So embrace it. Embrace failure. Embrace discomfort. Don't let them scare you. Let them teach you. Let them shape you into the person you need to be to achieve everything you want in life. Because the road to success isn't easy. It's paved with failure and discomfort. And if you can learn to embrace that, you're already ahead of the game. The real question is not whether or not you will fail, but what will you do when it happens? Will you quit, or will you get back up and keep going? Will you let discomfort hold you back, or will you use it to fuel your progress? It's all up to you, but the sooner you embrace failure and discomfort, the sooner you'll realize that they're not obstacles. They're the stepping stones to your success. There's this idea that success comes quickly, that it happens overnight, that if you just hit the right moment, everything will fall into place. People want the quick wins, the shortcuts, the easy path. But I'm here to tell you success is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not about the quick bursts of energy or the flashy moments of brilliance. No, success is about showing up every single day, putting in the work, and continuing to push forward even when the results aren't immediately visible. It's about consistency and persistence. Too often, people start strong. They're fired up, they're ready to go, and they give it their all for a few weeks, maybe even a few months. But then, the shine wears off. The excitement fades, the obstacles start showing up, and the results aren't as fast or as obvious as they had hoped. That's when people quit. That's when they stop showing up. That's when they abandon their dream. And let me tell you something. That's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Consistency isn't about working hard for a short period of time. It's about showing up every single day, doing the work even when it feels like nothing's happening, even when the progress is invisible, even when the results are slow. Consistency is the practice of putting in effort, no matter the circumstances. It's about doing what you need to do day after day, week after week, year after year. It's easy to show up when everything is going well, when things are falling into place, when the road is smooth and clear. But what about when things get tough? What about when you're tired, when you feel like giving up, when it feels like the world is against you? That's when consistency matters most. That's when you prove to yourself who you really are. The secret to success is not just showing up when it's easy. It's showing up when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, when you're at your lowest point. That's when the magic happens. The truth is, consistency compounds. Every small effort you make, every time you show up and do the work, it builds on itself. It's like dropping a stone into a pond. At first, you don't see much, but over time, those ripples spread out further and further, and the effect becomes more and more significant. You may not see the results immediately, but you're laying the foundation, step by step, every day, every hour, every moment. It's like planting a seed. You plant it, and for a long time, you see nothing. There's no sign of growth, no sign of change. But you continue to water it, you continue to nurture it, and then one day, you look down and a little sprout appears. And you know what? That sprout didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was the result of all the time, all the effort, all the consistency you put in when no one was watching. The same goes for your dreams. The work you put in today may not pay off immediately, but it will. Over time, that effort will add up, and when it finally bursts through, you'll see just how far you've come. But let me tell you something else. Persistence is what will carry you through the times when consistency alone feels like it's not enough. Consistency is about showing up, but persistence is about refusing to quit. Even when things don't go your way, even when the obstacles seem insurmountable, even when the road ahead is unclear. Persistence is about digging deep, staying the course, and pushing forward when everything inside of you is telling you to stop. Persistence is the force that keeps you going when you want to throw in the towel, when you're ready to quit, when the challenges seem endless. It's the ability to keep moving, to keep trying, even when the journey feels like it's too much. It's the difference between people who achieve their dreams and people who give up halfway through. It's easy to be persistent when everything is going according to plan. But true persistence is tested in the moments of doubt, in the face of adversity, in the dark moments when you feel like nothing is working. Persistence is the belief that even when the results are slow, even when it seems like nothing is changing, you can keep going because you trust in the process. It's the trust that the work you're putting in today will pay off tomorrow. It's the understanding that every failure, every setback, is just a stepping stone toward success. So many people give up just before they're about to make a breakthrough. They think that one failure is the end. They think that one mistake means they're not meant to succeed. But persistence tells you to keep going, to keep trying, to keep learning, and that's what will get you where you want to go. If you look at any person who has achieved something remarkable, whether it's in business, in sports, in entertainment, or in any other field, you will find a common thread: persistence. They didn't get to where they are because they were lucky or because things always went perfectly. They got there because they kept showing up, because they kept pushing forward, even when things weren't going well, even when they felt like quitting. They stuck with it. They were persistent, and here's the thing about persistence. It doesn't have to be a big, dramatic push every single day. It's not about burning yourself out or exhausting yourself. Persistence is about showing up with the intention to keep moving forward, even if that means taking small steps. You don't have to make huge leaps every day. You don't have to achieve monumental progress every time. But you have to keep going. You have to keep making progress, however small it may be. The key to persistence is to never stop moving, no matter how small the steps, no matter how insignificant the progress may seem. Think about the people who have had the most impact in the world. Think about the artists, the entrepreneurs, the innovators. What set them apart? It wasn't their genius. It wasn't their one big idea. It was their commitment. It was their consistency. It was their persistence to keep going when others quit, to keep pushing when others gave up. They didn't see setbacks as failures. They saw them as lessons. They didn't let obstacles stop them. They used them as fuel. And they stayed consistent in their efforts, even when they couldn't see the full picture. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results. It's easy to throw in the towel when things don't work out as you plan. But that's the test. Are you willing to keep going? Are you willing to stay consistent, to keep showing up even when it feels like nothing's happening? Are you persistent enough to push through the tough times and keep going? The answer to all of this is simple: consistency and persistence. If you stay consistent in your effort and persistent in your pursuit of your goals, there's nothing that can stop you. The road won't always be smooth. The path won't always be clear. But as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep going, as long as you keep showing up, you're on your way to success. And that's what makes all the difference. It's not about the quick wins. It's about the long-term commitment. It's about putting in the work every single day. It's about refusing to quit. So no matter what happens, stay consistent, stay persistent, and keep moving forward. Because success is not about luck or talent. It's about showing up and doing the work every day, no matter how tough it gets. When you decide to take action, when you make the choice to stop thinking and start doing, something incredible happens. You begin to lead not just your own life, but the lives of others around you. This is not just about your personal growth or achievement. It's about creating a ripple effect that can spread far beyond you. You see, action is contagious. When you take that first step, others will notice. They'll watch, they'll learn, and they'll be inspired to move in their own lives. That's the power of leading by example. That's the power of showing the world that it's possible to change, to grow, and to achieve. And that's how real, lasting change begins. People are waiting for a sign. They're waiting for someone to show them that it's possible. They want to believe that there's hope, that they too can break free from their fears and limitations. But too often, they are stuck in a cycle of inaction, afraid to make the first move, waiting for someone to lead them. And the moment you step into your own power and take that leap of faith, you become that sign. You become that proof that change is possible, not just in theory but in practice. The people who make a real difference in the world aren't the ones who talk about what needs to be done, or what could be done, or what should be done. No, they're the ones who step up and do it. They're the ones who decide that their actions are going to speak louder than their words, and they lead with integrity, courage, and consistency. They don't wait for others to pave the way for them. They don't wait for someone to give them permission. They take action, even when they're uncertain, even when they don't have all the answers. And in doing so, they set an example that others can follow. When you lead with action, you show people what's possible. You show them that they don't have to wait for permission or approval. They don't have to wait for the world to change for them. They can change their own world starting right now. By making that first move, you create a pathway for others to follow. You become a beacon of possibility in a world that sometimes feels dark, uncertain, and full of obstacles. Your courage becomes the spark that ignites the fire in others. It's not always easy. The road to action is often filled with doubt, fear, and uncertainty. But the very nature of action is that it forces you to face those feelings head on. When you choose to act, you confront the fears that hold you back. You push through the resistance, and that is the essence of leadership. Leadership is not about being fearless. It's about being able to move forward despite fear. It's about taking that first step even when you don't know what's waiting on the other side. And here's the thing, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know exactly how everything is going to unfold. That's the beauty of action. It teaches you as you go. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you take risks, the more you grow. Action is the most powerful tool you have for transformation, both personally and for the people around you. The moment you start doing, you become a living example of what it means to face challenges and still keep moving forward. People watch you, and they start to believe that they too can take action. They start to believe that they are capable of achieving things they never thought possible. You don't realize the impact you're having when you first take that step. You might think it's just you, just your small personal effort, but trust me, it's never just about you. The truth is, there are people watching you right now, people who are silently waiting for the courage to make their own move. Your actions might be the nudge they need to step outside of their comfort zones and take the leap they've been afraid to take. And when they do, they'll carry that inspiration forward, passing it on to others, creating an endless cycle of empowerment and growth. This is how change is created, not in isolation, but in the collective energy of people stepping into their power. Every time you take action, you're not only shaping your own future, you're shaping the future of everyone who witnesses your journey. They see your resilience, they see your determination, and they see your commitment to following through. And without even realizing it, you become a model for what it means to be a true leader. Leadership isn't about a title or position, it's about influence. And your actions are the most powerful form of influence you can have. When you show others that it's possible to make things happen, to move forward even when life is tough, you are leading. Leadership also means accepting responsibility. When you choose to act, you take ownership of your future and your potential, but you also take ownership of the impact you have on those around you. Every action you take, whether big or small, ripples out and affects others. You might not see it immediately, but your actions are always creating waves. The way you show up in the world matters, whether you're aware of it or not. Your choices to keep moving, to keep pushing, to keep going despite the odds, inspire people to do the same in their own lives. And there's something deeply fulfilling about knowing that your actions are not just benefiting you, but helping others unlock their own potential. You begin to understand that leadership is not a position to hold, it's a way of living. When you lead with action, you're constantly evolving, constantly learning, and constantly empowering others to do the same. And in the process, you become part of something greater than yourself. Movement, a collective force of people who are all striving to grow, to do more, and to be more. In every corner of the world, there are people waiting for someone to lead them. There are people who are stuck in the same cycles, waiting for the courage to move forward, waiting for permission to change. But the truth is, you don't need anyone's permission to make a difference. You don't need anyone's approval to take action. The moment you decide to move, you're already leading. You're showing people that it's possible to change. You're showing them that they don't have to stay where they are, trapped in fear and doubt. They can step out too. They can create their own path. That's the power of leading with action. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about being willing to move even when you don't know exactly where you're going. It's about trusting that the right steps will reveal themselves as you keep going. And as you move, as you take action, you'll inspire others to do the same. You'll give them permission to take that leap of faith in their own lives. And together, through your actions, you'll create a world that's filled with the kind of change that lasts.